Here, another episode of Crazy Dad's Garage and the Crazy Dad Bumpside, and today we're going to take it another step further. I watched a guy do what I thought was a pretty cool looking paint job on his old rat rod, and decided that's what I want to do with this. So, as you know from the previous episodes, we had the brown short bed swapped onto this truck, and that's all worked out pretty well and good. But the first step of this paint job, which is going to turn out looking like a burnished weathered raw steel paint job, is to coat everything with a coat of satin black paint. And so I'm going to start on this side. So, you know, obviously the cab was already there, so I've just finished spraying some satin black Krylon on the bed after I scuffed it all up with some Scotch-Brite. There's the paint that I'm using. And I've just gone over it, and that's the first step. So we'll let that dry until the next sunshiny warm day that I get, and then I'll be out here showing you how to do the next step in this process, because this is kind of one of those really neat patina finishes that everybody's after. And since this thing was already painted the flat black color, I didn't want to mess with it nor spend a whole lot of money on it, so I'm going to go with this type of finish because I think it looks really cool. So we'll be back as we get ready to do the next part of it. Now here it is after we've got it all painted in that satin black. So at least my truck's all one color now. That's a nice change, although I didn't think it was all that bad with the black and brown, but all one color. And now the next part of the project will be making it look distressed and patinaed, and that will happen with another step that I'll show you here as we get this all dried out and ready to go. So we'll be back as soon as we get all the preparation stuff ready for the next step here. Okay guys, we're going to get on to the next part of this paint job now. And this is the metallizing part, and it's really intriguing how this is done. So I'm going to, and I've never done this before. I saw somebody else do it on a rat rod on YouTube, and I love the look of it, so I'm going to do it to the truck. I got nothing to lose. The truck doesn't have a great paint job on it anyway, and it's already flat black, and so this is just the next step there. So anyway, what you're supposed to do is get yourself a piece of denim. At least that's what they describe. I've got a hunch that other kind of coarse materials would work just fine, but that's what I'm going to use. I had this piece around, and you know, this is a new piece, but something out of an old pair of Levi's would probably work just fine. So the next thing you're supposed to do is get this denim soaked with paint thinner. And I've got mineral spirits here. That's a type of paint thinner. So we're going to soak it all up and see if we can get that fully soaked. And that's a good thing. It's a good time to wear rubber gloves because you're going to make a mess here by the time you're done, and you don't really want to have your hands all coated with silver paint. That'll not be fun to wash off. So anyway, I don't know if you can hear me or not. That's game plan, so I'm getting it soaked. Alright. Now, once you're soaked it, you don't want it to be completely wet still. You want to wring the excess out of it. And so, I'm going to get it like that. Then you want to get it laid out on your workbench or something here that it's not going to hurt to get paint on. And what you want to do at this point then is get yourself some silver paint, and I suspect that a big can of silver Krylon or Rust-Oleum would work the best, but I've got a couple cans of silver touch-up paint here that I am going to use for this project. So Now what you're supposed to do is completely coat this thing, thoroughly coat your piece of denim with the silver paint. And not just a little bit, you want to have it good and saturated. It's an interesting process how this works. So I think nearly any silver paint should work here because the effect is going to be about the same. Although I might surprise myself and find out that my genius idea here is not really as smart as I thought it was. That happens fairly often actually when I'm doing this kind of stuff. So we'll see. We'll get this thing really soaked down good here with silver paint. It's funny because I had seen paint jobs like this before and I'd always wondered how in the world they did that. And when I finally saw what somebody had done, I couldn't believe how simple it was. So, keep it going there. If you remember right, I coated the whole thing with a satin black paint. I think flat black might work too, but I think the thing that I read said to use satin black, so that's what I did, besides the fact that I happen to have it around. Alright, there's one side of it. Now we'll flip it over and do the back side. What was interesting to me about this is they said even after this rag dries out, you can put some more paint thinner on it and it will rehydrate it basically. I realize hydrate is water, but it'll re-moisturize it and make the thing functional again. And what he was doing was spraying some paint thinner on the rag to re-moisturize it, not pouring it on it, because you don't really want it really saturated. You just want a little bit to renew the tackiness of the silver paint that's still stuck on it. I'm really excited to see how this works. So you can see that this rag is using up almost this entire small can of touch-up paint just to saturate the rag. In fact, I think I'll be lucky if I don't have to grab the other can and do the last little bit here. Yep, not quite going to make it. Alright. Alright, there we go. Got our silver paint applied. Now, supposed to take a heat gun and dry it out. Like I said, you don't want the thing moist. I don't know if you can actually catch the things on fire or not. That would be funny if that actually happened. But we'll see here. We're dealing with a bunch of solvents here, and I think you're trying to force those solvents out of the cloth and the paint for the most part. You still want it to be, I think, just a touch damp but not really moist. I don't know how long it actually takes to do this. Nice thing is, if you're doing it and you mess up a spot, just grab your can of satin black paint and spray over the top of it and try it again. Okay, we'll flip it over here. Whew. Really smell the fumes coming off of it, so must be doing something. Unfortunately, with the rubber gloves on, I can't really tell how dry it is. But I'm going to assume, based on what I saw on the other guy's video, that that's probably enough right there. So get some orange spots on there coming off my painted box. I really want them in my paint job, but I guess it wouldn't be the end of the world if they did show up. Alright, well, that's got us to that point. Now I'm going to take you out to the truck and show you how I think this is supposed to be done. Alrighty then, that was an epic fail. So here's my rag that I started with. This was yesterday, and following the instructions that I took off of the other video, I went out to the truck and wiped on the truck, and none of the silver came off the rag onto the truck. So I started experimenting. A couple of things. Maybe that silver paint that I was using wasn't the right kind of paint. I don't know. But I ended up respraying my rag and taking it out there wet instead of drying it out. Ended up getting me the best result. And then this morning I came out, because this rag was so stiff and it wasn't really marking it up like I wanted it to. I have these blue hospital towels that they use in operating rooms, and we've got a bunch of medical people in our family, so I have a huge supply of them. So I spray painted this thing silver I went down and got another kind of silver paint. This is a Rust-Oleum silver, and sprayed it down with that, took it out of the truck, wiped it on, and it lasted for a little bit, and it just, what happens is my rag absorbs a ton of the paint that then never gets onto the truck. So I ended up finding my best result was to have this rag folded up in my hand and spraying it in my hand back and forth, and then immediately wipe it on the truck. And that's where I've been getting the best results. And so I'll take you out there and show you the truck and the half that I've got done so far, and we'll take it from there. Just a minute. So here's what we've got done so far. Yeah, you're not going to see it good here, but there we go. Get down here. So this bedside was my first. I did most of that with the denim cloth, and it worked out pretty good. I kind of like the way that's looking. And then I did this front part up here with a different type of work on the denim cloth, and it didn't match the back at all, and it looked really tacky, the two of them. So I resprayed this one black again and started over. And what you see here now is the result of the process that I was using this morning with that new towel and just spraying it and then wiping it on there when it's still wet on the towel. And so it's matching up pretty good with the back, kind of getting me the result that I'm after. So I'm curious to see how it works after I get it on the whole truck and how it looks. It doesn't look quite like what I saw in the video, but I think I'm going to be happy with this once I get the whole truck looking that way. And one of the fun thing is I'm finding some old painted on logos on the door company here, and I may go in there and repaint those with a brush and try to weather them in too to match. So it says Rockefeller Oil Company down here at the bottom, and then it's got an oil derrick. It's actually an oil well here that's painted on it, and I might go in and try to paint that, bring it back out, and then weather it, because I've been wanting some kind of a logo on the door here, and since it's already there, it might make a good thing to try to build off of. So anyway, that's where I'm at so far. I'm going to probably get back around here and work this other side next. Still don't have any silver paint on it, but I'll get it there, and then I'll start working my way through and doing the in-between parts and filling it back in. So anyway, you can learn from an epic fail of somebody else's as we're working through this. So I'll show you here as I get a little farther along. Well, there's the end result, guys. This is probably not the greatest light to see it in because I got shadows from this tree all over it, but it really did give it a patina look, and I think I'm gonna, put some, some kind of logos on the doors and some things like that to dress it up a little bit. But I think it does a couple of things. It hides the fact that the body work is not done on it. Any place where I've got dents and things were kind of standing out before, especially with that black paint. For instance, I got a low spot right there, and you can, it's there, but it doesn't jump out in your face like it was doing before. And in the shade, I think it's going to look a lot better when we get it out in the sun, especially when we get it logoed up and some things like that. But I'm happy with it. I think it's gonna grow on me as I get it trimmed out and everything like I want to. This side actually looks better than I can see on the other side with all the shadows on it and everything. So I think it's gonna work out good. But anyway, maybe that's what you want to do with yours. Maybe it's not. No big deal. I was just looking for an inexpensive way to dress this thing up, get it all one color, and really practice a little bit on the patina paint jobs, because it's something I've not really done before. But I think it's going to work out good. So we'll wrap up there, and I don't know. I'll probably come back and show you when I get the other trim and stuff put on it. So we'll talk to you then. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Learn from my mistakes. Hey everybody, stay tuned at the end of this video, because I'm going to talk some about the interior here. After I finished up the exterior, I did a little bit of change on it, so stay tuned. We'll talk to you then. There we go. Alright, did a couple little things there to give it a little bit of character along the sides, and it really dressed it up. I'll probably get in there after these things all dry thoroughly, like tomorrow, and I'll take a little bit more silver paint and brush over them to kind of weather those and make them look a little more distressed. I want to go real light with it though, and not cover everything up. But this was kind of fun here because all of those letters and the oil well derrick and everything were there. The old paint was just slightly higher than the level of the others, so it would catch the edges of the silver as it went by, and I was able to trace most of it. You can see there are parts of it that I couldn't see the picture, so I just left them blank, because that'd be part of the weathering process. But anyway, kind of gave this a different look for the truck here that I think will really help it look much better than it did. We'll get through that, and I'll wrap this video up and probably do another one where we do a walk around of it after I get some other stuff done. There may be a few things I'll want to do on that tailgate, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I kind of like the way it's turned out now. Funny thing is, my wife even appreciates it, which I didn't think she would at all. I'm not going to say she likes it, but she appreciates it and understands what's the point that I'm trying to get at. So anyway, there you go. That's how you do a patina paint job with this style, at least how I do one. Again, there's probably 500 ways to do it, and mine's definitely not the best way, but it worked and I'm happy with it. So there we go. We will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching another episode of Crazy Dad's Garage. So when you think you're done, you're not always done, right? I've been doing some more stuff on this, so I figured I'd throw it in this video. One of the things I did was I came over here and I kind of weathered the logos and stuff that I put on yesterday so that they'd look a lot more like they match the nature of the truck, the patina of the truck, instead of being new logos on an old paint job. So did that. Then here on the hood, it was all too plain, so I got some copper and put some faded stripes on the hood of it and down the side right here, and that led me to a theme then for the other parts of the truck. So I had one or two other things that I really wanted to do with the paint once I got this done, and that was on the interior. So decided to throw that in on this video here too. So one of the things that we had, the biggest problem, was had this incredibly ugly dash pad on there that was just hammered like they all get, and I'd get another one for 110 bucks, I think it was, plus some shipping, and I was going to do that, and I thought, well, you know what, maybe I could take that one and weather it so that it would look cool. So I went in and unbolted it, and lo and behold, look what was underneath it. This really nice metal dash with a nice coat of the original blue paint on it. And it just looks fantastic. And the only thing that shows are these defroster grill holes, but as you can see, they've got screw holes in them already, so I'm sure that if I find the right old truck, probably an old farm truck, the 2-ton type, that I could probably get some of these grills off of it and just screw them right in there and solve that. Then have a couple little mounting holes along the front of it, but they're not really in your face and you don't see them much. So I may put some chrome screws in them or something to kind of make them look right. But anyway, I just figured, well, shoot, that thing looks plenty nice, and I'm a fan of painted dashes anyway on the older trucks, and so I really like that. Turned out to be a plus. Don't have to spend that money. Then I did the patina job on the glove box door and the ashtray, and did it on the door panels on both sides. Then I took my copper. That dash instrument cluster was looking too plain all silver, so I put some copper highlights in there, and then I came out and painted my shifter handles copper and my brake and clutch pedal and the emergency brake copper, and a little bit on that gas pedal rod, and then the heater motor. So kind of all creates an effect in there, and I'm sure it won't show up really good on this picture because the sunlight's not right. But when you get the sunshine in there, it actually looks really cool. So anyway, got that done. Now I think I've got a pretty cohesive looking interior, cleaned up really nice. Like I said, it's in pretty good shape. Next thing I'm going to do is find myself a seat cover, get one ordered here that I like that kind of matches everything, and get this taken care of. Probably, this headliner's not great, so I probably should find something to do with that headliner. And I think I'll get myself a new clutch and brake pedal pad. I noticed they weren't very expensive. So I get those things done, and that will have the interior part of the thing. Oh, the steering wheel. I got to figure something out on that because it's pretty ugly. So we'll figure that out. But anyway, the truck is turning out really cool, and the bad part is I'm supposed to be selling this thing, but I'm liking it. That's what happens when you do something the way that you want, and it turns out to be really cool. But anyway, it may be for sale. We'll just have to see how things go on it. But there you go. That's Crazy Dad's Garage and the Crazy Dad Bumpside. Who knows, there might be another episode here. I still haven't got the engine compartment detailed, so we'll let you know how things are coming as we move along there, and talk to you soon.